So the garden was started about 2012. That's when this building was built behind us. Our role here in having a demonstration garden is to show the homeowners in the local area what potential plants that they can utilize in their yard. We like to do a native plant palette so that you can look at what it would look like to have just native California high desert plants here at your house. And you can see they're beautiful. There's flowers, there's all kinds of things. People think of desert landscape and they don't see beauty, they don't see flowers because obviously there's just big dirt everywhere. But there's so many possibilities with the plants that you can select. So this is open to the public. As long as our gates are open, which is from 8 to 5, you are free and welcome to come here. You're free to welcome and walk around, to read the plants, to look at the plants, to enjoy the garden. You can bring your lunch, you can bring your kids. It's a little bit of a playground. You can kind of experience and explore the whole area. So the public really does have a good reception to this garden. Most of our plants are labeled because of the demonstration garden nature of this. And so if you go around and you can look for the plants, you can determine what it is. We have both the common name and the Latin name on there, so you can make sure you're getting exactly what we have here. We have a lot of different sage plants here, and it's interesting to see the different varieties and the different flowers and how beautiful they can be. So we have some Cleveland sage with some beautiful purple flowers. We also have some red lipstick sage here that have really thrived, and it's just beautiful to see those colors, those pops of color, and to be able to incorporate those into the different garden areas. The desert is actually quite adapted to having fruit trees, and they do really, really well here in the high desert. We also have a lot of stone fruit, so peaches, plums, anything like those, apricots, those all grow really great up here. The one thing you do have to avoid though is citrus, however, because citrus doesn't like the cold winters. But when you look at the stone fruit and these other desert adapted fruit varieties, you really can get a great fruit. You can get a great harvest, and you can enjoy your garden and get a little bit of a reward from it too. One of the things incorporated in our garden is an ephemeral stream. It's right out here in front of our gate, and what it represents is how the water makes it from the mountains to the river. So we know of the Mojave River here locally by us, and you guys have out in the Morongo Valley, you have the different canyons and the different watersheds. But if you see how that water makes it through there, it's these ephemeral streams. And what that means by ephemeral basically is they don't flow all year, but they flow when the rain comes, and they flow from the tops of the hills into the ground, and they have these rocks, and they have this native plants, and so they're just very beautiful, and you don't see them as this water source, but that's really what they are. Is underneath all of it, it's a little small stream. Going back to your question about why we do this, and it's to give examples, and I'd like to just point out the permeable concrete that we incorporated into the garden, and that's really unique because this concrete allows water to be infiltrated into the ground still, so it does not create that hard layer of runoff. And so something that we as groundwater managers want to make sure we encourage is allowing all that water to go into the ground. So no plastics, no hardscapes. I'll make sure that there's an access to the ground for that water to get through. And so that permeable concrete, it kind of looks like a rice cake if you were to look at it, and allows water to flow right through it. When you're trying to incorporate desert landscaping into your garden or into your home, make sure you watch your plants for the first few weeks after planting them. Yes, everything needs to have establishment water, but there are certain plants here in the garden, if you overwater them, they will die. And so that's kind of a unique thing about desert landscaping, is you have to be very careful with how you plant and how you water. A lot of these plants, once they're established in the ground, you can turn the water off for the most part. You still have to kind of pay attention to them, you still have to kind of watch them, or you can turn that watering down to a very minimal amount just to sustain them. So desert-wise, we had a saying here for a while, it was live like a desert native. And so you can see these plants that are out in the wild when it doesn't rain for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they're still alive. They're still thriving, and they're still doing what they need to do. So that living like a desert native is being able to use only the amount of water you need to survive and thrive.